Okay, so I wanted to talk about why the first offer is the hardest to get, and then also why after that first offer you see so many other offers and why it gets easier after that. So everybody knows the first offer is the hardest. That's very, very clear because if you're at this point, you have no offers. I'm sure you're going through trying to get attention to college coaches. You get a little bit of attention and then it just turns into nothing or fizzles out, or maybe there's still some interest, but they're just not pulling the trigger. And so the reason why is because you have to realize it's a job at the end of the day. It's not that like they can just make anybody's dreams come true and offer all the kids. I'm sure they want to, and I'm sure if they're interested in you, they'd love to offer you, but realistically, they can only offer so many kids. There's only so many scholarships out there, and their job, their family, their livelihood depends on that. And if they recruit the wrong kid, they're going to get fired, is what's going to happen, especially when you get talk about Power Five schools. I mean, those are literally rankings that are put out to the whole world. I'm sure you've seen it sometimes that so and so gets a recruiting ranking, and literally 24/7 has rankings for who recruits the best out of those schools. So to recruit wrong kids or to recruit kids that you're taking a chance on, yeah, it might pay off sometimes, but a lot of times it doesn't pay off, and then you end up getting fired for it, or your team doesn't perform well, and you're going to be one to blame. And so that's why it's so hard to get that first offer, is because you need an undeniable stack of proof to prove to the coach that, hey, I am worthy of being the first one to offer. Most of the time, coaches are just going to wait till somebody else offers, and then they're going to pull the trigger if they're really not sure about you. But if they're 100% sure about you, then that's when that first offer comes and you see things roll a lot easier. And so, again, why you see it happen that after that first one, things become easier is because that is a form of proof. When somebody extends you a scholarship offer, as long as it's legit, that is a form of proof. That's literally why there's people paying for D1 scholarship offers, because it's like the blue check mark. Like the blue check mark, you can pay for it now, but it's still a status symbol. It's still that, like, you see a blue check mark, and you may now remember that it's paid, but you take that person a lot more seriously than someone who doesn't have a blue check mark. And that's just the truth. Like, unconscious or not, that's just the truth. It's the same with the scholarship offer. Coaches are going to take kids with higher scholarship offers more seriously than kids that have no scholarship offers. That is just the truth. And you may think that, oh, they're overlooking me because I don't have offers, or I don't have the tension. And yeah, that's the truth. They're going to prioritize kids that have some kind of proof behind them rather than the kid that, hey, you go to a small school. Yeah, you played pretty well, but you're not like that much of a standout. Yeah, they're going to take the kid that played about the same at a bigger school against slightly better competition and has other offers over you. And that's just the truth. And you have to find ways to stand out against that kid and show that you are better than him, or that you're about the same as him, and that you should be the steal and the one that's getting offers. And that's kind of the secret, is like, well, I won't say the secret, but that's just kind of the game ultimately, is like finding ways to stand out, even though you don't have that first offer, even though you don't have that attention. And it's just so hard because it's like, it's so much work. You're like, literally, recruiting is such an uphill battle. You're like, especially again, if you're not in a good area where you're at a smaller school or you're at a less recruited state, you're at this such a steep incline, and it feels so hard. You're treading every single step. It's painful. You're just like, man, am I going to even be able to do it? But if you can find a way to climb up that hill, and it might take a while, but once you finally hit that point where you get that first offer, it starts to ease out. It starts to level out a little bit. And next thing you know, you're running downhill, getting a bunch of offers with momentum that you built up over time. That's just kind of how the recruiting game works. It's a crazy, crazy world. A lot of people don't like these aspects of the fact that they feel like coaches are lazy, that they offer kids who already have offers, and that's when they pull the trigger, and that it's not fair or whatever. Not, but that's just a reality. Recruiting isn't fair. Yes, coaches are lazy. Everybody's lazy. I'm sure you don't do your homework all the time. I'm sure you procrastinate to the last second. But that's also why a big thing in my philosophy is making the coach's job easier, because they don't want to spend a bunch of time on recruiting. They want to spend minimal time on recruiting and spend maximum time preparing to win games and preparing their players, which are going to be the real results that lead to the wins and losses of that season. And so the more time you can save a coach, the more time you're going to get of his, and the more he's going to be able to evaluate you. And though you can't force a coach to offer you, at the very least, you can give him ample time to make that decision, evaluate you, and get way more of his time, way more of his attention, which is to your benefit than if you make it really hard for him to recruit you. It just gives you such a bigger advantage. So ultimately, to recap at this point, the reason why the first scholarship offer is so hard is because you have no proof. You have nothing showing that you're a legit college football recruit except for your film, maybe some stats, awards, some guys that you've played against or played with. And if you don't have much of those things, I mean, if all you have is film, you can obviously still get an offer. I'm not saying like you need other offers to get offers. That's just false, obviously, because, the egg still comes before the chicken or whatever you want to say. But you need so much proof in those areas to be able to overcompensate for the fact that no one's taken a chance on you yet, especially the later and later you get in the process. You have to think if you're a senior going into your senior season with no D1 scholarship offers, it's very hard to get a D1 scholarship offer at that point, because why hasn't anyone else pulled the trigger on you at that point? It's just a question that is going to scare a lot of coaches away. And then vice versa, the kid who, if you're at that point where you're 26 right now, I mean, you have a lot of time, so they're more likely to take a chance on you when you have pretty good film and everything like that. So ultimately, you just need so much proof, and you just need to continue building proof however you do it. Film, working out with guys, showcasing your abilities, whatever you can do to get that proof and ultimately prove it to a coach, get that first offer. And then from there, coaches see that you have some kind of proof that, hey, somebody else is wanting to invest in me and is betting on me, then other people are more likely to jump in on that bandwagon effect and leading you to that snowball of offers over time. So that's basically a quick breakdown. Hopefully you like this. If you have any questions, be sure to reply down below, and let me know if you're liking these kind of videos. I enjoy making them. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.